Yeah, so this is going to be kind of an experiment. I realized the other day I don't really watch broadcast shows, especially live. I just don't watch broadcast shows live. I think the exception is I watch Big Brother live as much as I can, but honestly, a lot of the times I forget and I just watch it on Paramount Plus or CBS All Access or whatever. I don't know. But ignoring that and ignoring occasionally I watch SNL live, but I can't think of another show on broadcast TV that I watch, and I definitely don't watch it as it's coming out, appointment style, old person style. So I decided, I thought it'd be an interesting experiment to go through like a week of television and see if I could find stuff to watch on network television. So the big three, Fox, CBS, NBC, I guess ABC, so big four. I'll even count PBS in this list, although, yeah, stuff that you can get for free on the waves. And so that's going to be the rule. It's going to be stuff you can get for free on the waves. That's going to be out this week. And then the other rule is I have to commit to 2 hours. So 4 comedies, 2 dramas, some combination of the 2 styles. Yeah. Let's just see what's out there, because I honestly don't know what's out there. Here we go. So Monday night. Monday night looks like it starts at. Honestly, it starts at 7 here. So Fox has 911, ABC has Jeopardy, NBC has The Voice semifinals, which is, it looks like a 2-hour thing, so that would eat up my whole thing. CBS has The Neighborhood, Bob Hart's Abishola. My TV has reruns, and PBS has Antiques Roadshow. So really my choices are 911, or I could do Jeopardy Masters, but I'm not going to watch Jeopardy Masters. So 911, The Voice, or The Neighborhood. We'll go with Fox. We'll do 911. I can tell you right now, I'm not even sure. I make a point to watch the pilot of every show that comes out just to see what I like. This show came out at such a weird moment in my life that I don't think I ever watched the pilot. So I don't think I've ever seen 911. I've certainly never seen a whole episode. I'm sure it was playing in the background at some point, but I've never seen 911. I know it's about rescuers, and it's procedural. That's all I know. I just remember there was a billboard on the 405 in Los Angeles that was like a 3D billboard where there was a roller coaster, and the way it looked like a satire. That's the only thing I know about 911 is the poster made it look like it was going to be like Monty Python or like some kind of really bonkers satire, but it's not. They're playing it straight. So, so I picked Fox for 7 p.m., 911. And then 8 p.m., my choices are TMZ Investigates Britney Spears on Fox, American Idol, which is 2 hours, the second half of The Voice, or NCIS. I guess it'll have to be NCIS. So CBS, NCIS. 8 p.m., NCIS, CBS. I know what NCIS is. NCIS has to be on its like billionth season at this point, but it's a procedural. As I recall, it's the successor to JAG, which I did watch as a kid because my dad watched JAG. So as like a a tween, I caught JAG every so often. It made no sense to me. NCIS. Doesn't NCIS have that goth girl who's like pigeonholed to be the goth girl? I don't know. Anyway, that's all I know. Moving on. Tuesday, 5 p.m. Fox at 6:30 has TMZ. 7 o'clock has 911 Lone Star. So that's the Texas version. I don't know. It's not shot in Austin, I don't think. I don't know where. Maybe it's shot. Is it shot in Houston? I don't know. 911 Lone Star, so the spinoff of 911, or the sister show 911. For Fox, we have Jeopardy Masters again. NBC has 2 Night Court reruns. CBS has FBI, and PBS has a rerun of Finding Your Roots. So I could either commit myself to a 2-hour episode of 911 Lone Star, which I assume is the season finale, or I could watch. Let's go to CBS. Let's do FBI for 7 to 8, and then FBI International 8 to 9. So 7P FBI, 8P FBI International. And that's CBS. I definitely watched the pilot episode to FBI. I don't even know what season they're on. They've got to be on like season 8 or 9 at this point. It's been a very long time. FBI International. I couldn't even guess as to where that takes place. Does it take place in New York? Does it take place in London? I don't know. I thought the FBI was the Federal Bureau of Investigation. I thought the FBI was in US and CIA was out of US. That's how I always thought of it. So I don't really know what FBI International would refer to. They also have FBI Most Wanted at 9 to 10. In this universe, I'm too old to stay up to watch FBI Most Wanted. I will have watched FBI with my dog, and then I'll watch FBI International as I'm falling asleep. And then obviously, I have my sleeping CPAP machine on, and I'm snoring through FBI Most Wanted as I forget to turn the TV off. That's kind of how I'm thinking of it. Moving on. That's my Tuesday. Wednesday. Here we go. Wednesday. Fox has The Masked Singer. ABC has Jeopardy Masters again. NBC has Chicago Med. And CBS has Survivor. In grad school, I had a Survivor watch group. They were very into it. They got me into Big Brother. I have thoughts about Survivor. I haven't done an episode about Survivor, but there are things I like about Survivor, and there are things that I find to be not for me about Survivor. But the games that Survivor created that sort of bled into what Big Brother is in the US now, I really appreciate. So it's going to be either it's got to be Chicago Med. The only narrative at 7 o'clock is Chicago Med, so it's NBC Chicago Med, 7 p.m., which is a procedural. And 8 p.m., there's a new Farmer Wants a Wife series. I remember watching that when I was in high school, I think. So we got Chicago Fire. It's at 8 to 9. Or we got a 2-hour, I assume, season finale of True Lies on CBS. So I guess we'll do Chicago Fire. I don't think I've watched any of the Chicagos. I've certainly not watched Chicago. And we can do that. We can do the Med, and then going to sleep for Fire, and then sleep with the TV on for Chicago PD. That seems about right. I couldn't tell you any detail about any of the Chicagos. I assume it's Dick Wolf, but I don't remember because that's the Law and Order guy, right? They're procedurals, and that's all I know. If there's one criticism or critique I can have so far about the availability of, primetime network shows is not a lot of variety. They all seem to be chains of interconnected stuff. I guess in a world where there's 4 versions of Rick and Morty or 4 versions of Community, I would appreciate that. But as a person who, like some people read books, and there was this Dan in Real Life. If you've ever seen that movie, there's this moment in Dan in Real Life when they're in the bookstore where this woman asked Steve Carell, "Hey, can you recommend me a book?" And he says, "You don't traditionally find all the answers in one book." And so he gives her a bunch of books. I'm not seeing a lot of books here. I'm seeing a lot of the same book. I'm seeing I'm seeing the novelization of Star Wars, the like 50 book novelization of Star Wars, or I'm seeing the for dummies section, not because of dummies, but because that's how many there are of that book. That's what I'm seeing at the bookstore right now. So anyway, moving on. Thursday. So as it turns out, TV Passport doesn't look more than a week in advance. And since I'm doing this on a Thursday, I can't get past Thursday. Because what is the future? It's ambiguous. It's amorphous. Does it exist? Is time a construct? Yeah. So I went to TV Guide and sort of found it the hard way. Thursday, CBS has Young Sheldon, ABC has Station 19, NBC has Law and Order, Fox has a rerun of Alert Missing Persons Unit, which is okay. Here's time for a riff. I believe before it came out, it was supposed to be called Amber: Missing Persons Unit, or it was just called Amber, and they had to change it because I think the Amber Alert people, somebody involved, complained because of how inappropriate that would be to have a show that would take away the attention from the Amber Alert system, a system designed to save and protect children. So they had to change it to Alert Missing Persons Unit, which is objectively a worse name. It just is. I understand why it's called Alert Missing Persons Unit, but I also understand why you wouldn't want to call something Amber Alert, because then every time you hear on TV Amber Alert, you're thinking this is an Amber Alert, which is kind of important. That's probably why we also don't have a show called Special Alert Alien Invasion or Special Alert Terrorist Attack. Like, it's same reason, so I get it, but it's just like what an over, like there was a while back where there was this Fred Savage show with Rob Lowe called The Grinder, and they should have changed the name because it was a pretty decent show. It was pretty well written, and the idea was they're basically making fun of what would later become Bull, the show, where he was a hotshot lawyer on a procedural. But the gag is Rob Lowe quits his procedural lawyer show to move to the Midwest to join his brother's law firm, even though he's not really a lawyer. He's just a movie star or a TV star. But it was called The Grinder in a moment where Tinder and Grindr were huge. So, yeah. Anyway. What are my choices here? So, did I see NBC? Yeah. Okay. So, I could watch Young Sheldon, I could watch Station 19, Law and Order, or This Old House, or a rerun of Walker. I haven't done any comedies. They've all been procedural. So let's do there's 2 episodes of Young Sheldon. Is it a rerun? Is episode 2 a rerun? If I click on it, will it open? Season 6, episode 22. No, they're double pumping Young Sheldon down our gullets. Okay. Oh, might as well. All right, Young Sheldon. So 7p, 8p, Young Sheldon. I definitely watched the pilot for Young Sheldon. I thought it was interesting that it's a spinoff or a prequel, I guess, to The Big Bang Theory, which was a multicam show, but Young Sheldon is a single camera show and the tone is different. I thought that was interesting. But I can't, I've seen the 22-minute pilot episode and I haven't seen in earnest another episode since. So I know it's got the guy from Always Sunny who's the addict who Dee used to be in love with, who tried to off himself because his kids and his wife hate him so much. That's the only thing I know about that show, is that guy acts in it. So let's go to 8 p.m. because that only did. So Help Me Todd, Grey's Anatomy, Law and Order, SVU. Yeah, okay, let's do So Help Me Todd. So we'll do Young Sheldon, and then So Help Me Todd. And I know So Help Me Todd's on its first or second season. I haven't watched it. I thought about watching it, and I like who's in it. I followed the guy from Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist and Pitch Perfect and all those things, and I haven't watched it. I haven't felt the need to watch it. Apparently it's very uplifting and safe and very sweet, and that's fine. That doesn't appeal to me. Let's get to Friday. All right, Friday. Famously a day where young people watch television appointment style. I'm being facetious. Young people like to go out on Friday, or at least that's the cliche. But more importantly, young people don't watch that kind of TV on Friday. I think the really weekend exception for TV, except for Monday night TV, which young people do watch, especially HBO, is Saturday Night Live, if they're watching anything on the weekends, other than stuff that's not appointment style. So S.W.A.T is a Friday show. I did not know that. Has it always been a Friday show? They must know their demographic. I know Fire Country. I watched the first episode of Fire Country, and having grown up with firefighters, I have thoughts. But yeah, so Friday shows. What are you going to do? Shark Tank, WWE, SmackDown, Washington Week, Firing Line. I mean, is it a cop-out to not watch something on Friday? I feel like I must. If I'm old, that's my last chance to get medication before the because the banks close in the midday Saturday, so you got to get your affairs in order on Friday when you're old. Otherwise, you might not have a good weekend, because that's when the traffic is. That's when the families are doing family stuff. You might take a bus trip somewhere, and I don't know. So I feel like retirement homes do bus trips during the week, because then you can go to the museum and it's not chaos like it is on the weekends. I'm overthinking this. S.W.A.T, obviously CBS S.W.A.T. I liked the movie. I didn't watch the original show. I liked the movie. I think I watched the pilot for S.W.A.T when it came out, however many years ago, and it is what it is. And then obviously the 8 p.m. show. Anything but Fire Country. That's really where I'm at. Is there any other option? I could do Dateline. What is great performances? Well, it's very long. Oh, it's a Richard III live play. If I was... What's hilarious is real me, this actually appeals to. Old person me, I don't think I can stay up long enough to watch it, because it goes till 10:30 or 10:30. It's gonna have to be Fire Country. Well, yeah, because then I could leave Blue Bloods on after Fire Country. Yeah, it's gonna be Fire Country. So CBS. So after all of that, so Monday was Fox 911, NCIS CBS, FBI CBS, FBI International CBS, and then obviously FBI Med or FBI New Orleans or whatever, for when I'm asleep and I left it on. Wednesday, Chicago Med NBC, Chicago Fire NBC, and then Chicago Hope NBC. That's a good joke, because Chicago Hope I think was the original, but now it's Chicago PD, I believe. Yeah. Thursday, Young Sheldon double pumped, because that's a good sign for a show. They've double pumped Firefly, they double pumped Happy Endings. What other shows did they double pump? I feel like they double pumped Community at one point. I remember watching Happy Endings, and I had either T-voted or DVR'd it. It must have been a DVR at that point. And it played it was like 2, 4, 3, 7, 8, 1, or 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 1 or something. And so I had no idea what the, you literally missed the first episode, which is the premise of the show, but then they gave us the rest of Happy Endings, and they double pumped them, which was even more hurtful, because it was like double pumped in the summer. Yeah, that hurt. That hurt. And what a good show. It went on to being a thing, and Damon Wayans Jr. had to drop out of New Girl's first season and ultimately second season, to be on Happy Endings, because he was in first position. Anyway. Young Sheldon, and then So Help Me Todd. It's all CBS. And then Friday it's SWAT CBS, and then Fire Country CBS, and then, obviously Falling Asleep to Blue Blood CBS. So credit where credit's due. Fox got one 1 hour show. NBC got 2 1 hour shows, and CBS got all of the rest. So conclusion time. Only old people watch appointment style primetime TV shows. All of them seem to be more or less attached to other shows. Like 911 has 911 Lone Star, NCIS has NCIS New Orleans, FBI has 3 versions of FBI or 2 versions of FBI. Chicago's are 3. Young Sheldon is a spinoff of basically the most successful sitcom in the last 10 years. So Help Me Todd is unique. SWAT is a remake of a TV show that itself was an adaptation of a show. And then Fire Country is its own thing. I will regret saying negative things about Fire Country, I'm sure. So it's not for me. In defense of these shows, by sheer length and breadth, they tend to get more viewership than other shows, especially deep cable, especially streaming with exceptions. And the pay is better. And the hours tend to be better too when you're working on the show. So, pluses and minuses. Yeah, the procedural format just has never appealed to me as somebody who likes stories. Do you guys watch any of these shows? Am I callously overlooking a diamond in the rough here? Is So Help Me Todd the second coming that my Christian family members have been trying to sell me on? Like, share, subscribe. Catch you next time.